Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 65 of I Just Got My Kid to Sleep. I took my glasses off in a dramatic fashion. Episode 65 of I Just Got My Kid to Sleep. Because you have to. If you're doing glasses for the first time in the podcast, I just got my kid to sleep. You got to use them. I just got my kid to sleep. Also, there's a little glare. I don't know if you know this about movie making, but if you wear glasses in a movie or a TV show or anywhere there, or in your bathroom where there's a little ring light that you purchase for under $30, you're gonna get a glare unless you get you can see them now that I see them. Um, the ring, and so you gotta get the glasses. Got my kid to sleep. I just did that thing again for the audio people. I know there's a good amount of people that listen just audio, and so far this episode isn't really meeting their needs. So maybe later on we'll do less visual, but right now this is episode 65 of I Just Got My Kid to Sleep. There's a thing you can get coated if you go to Lens Crafters. You can get it coated onto your glasses that makes them non-reflective. And personally, this is a little consumer info. I don't like it. I don't like the way, when it comes to life, I just got my kid to sleep. I did the glasses thing. You knew that. But when it comes to life, it's important for you to feel good. And the my ones that had the no glare, I was like, I don't feel good. So if I ever get to the point where I gotta wear glasses and in a movie or a TV show or on a podcast, I guess today's the day, I will get the no glare ones. But I didn't do it today. I'll just do no glasses. Maybe I'll put them on again later. I don't know. I just, part of me was like, I'll just, keep my contacts in. But I've had them in all day because I just got my kid to sleep. And I don't think I can think of any other times to do that. But you really, if you ever want to do that, you just sort of start it and then find a reason to say the name of the podcast. Like this is episode. I already did that one. Um, so I just got my kid to sleep and he's sleeping. I think that's it. But I had my glasses on because my contacts are out. I'm all out. I'm all out of contacts. And I did wear them today, even though they're expired. They're not, I don't know. My left does a 2 week, right? This is important. And my right, I feel like if I say this is important and like in a joking way, then people will know that I'm also aware that what you're listening to doesn't have much entertainment value. So, kind of a cheap way to get around not providing content. This is a podcast called I Just Got My Kid. I didn't even do the glasses thing. We're done. I kid to sleep. So, my left is a 2 week and my right eye is a 4 week. I used to have astigmatism. I think I still do. Do you ever have that happen in life where you get a diagnosis at some point in your life and you're like, that's who I am. That's what I am. That's what I have. And then you're like, I don't really know if I am still. I used to be nearsighted in one eye and farsighted in the other. It was like my eyes were just like, we're going to make up for what the other one can't do. It was a good partnership, really. And then my right eye got nearsighted too. Is nearsighted where you can see near stuff? I'm a negative on the contacts. Negative number. Everybody who can see really well is just like, come on, kid. You're just making it up. What did like people a long time, I was going to say old people, but they're all ages. People a long time ago do if they couldn't see. I guess they had like monocles for the one eye. That was better. They just didn't see that well. I don't know. They've had glasses for a long time. I love contacts so much. Glasses are fine too. I do feel like when I got on the airplane though, as I'm on the airplane when I travel for work, I wear my glasses. So this is the thing. This is a nighttime episode. I don't know if you can tell the way the tone is. First, I'm a little more I'm not reserved. I'm all over the place. You can't contain me. But my voice, my tone is gonna stay in this level, because it's nighttime now. I just got my kid to sleep, and I gotta do it one more time. My voice has to stay in this level because I just got my kid to sleep. Um, I don't know. My grandma used to say that kid referred to goats, and I've heard that argument before. Like, kid is a goat. It's a goat. Yeah, but it's also a child. There's way worse things I could call him. And I have in my head. No, I don't call him names in my head. I get mad at myself. That's where I'm coming from in real life. I get mad. Like today. Today. We'll get back to today. So I have this important contact story to share. I don't know. I don't know. So my left is out after 2 weeks. My right one I can do a month. And I was supposed to go to the eye doctor. I have an eye doctor. She is so great that I travel multiple states to see her. And I have her direct cell phone number and email. And I don't use it because maybe I should. But I call just like everybody else. I'm not going to use my celebrity status unless absolutely necessary. And I just my celebrity status. That's a good one. No, I shouldn't. I'm very people right. You know. Anyway, um, it's the eye doctor I had when I lived in Illinois, and she's the best. I go in there. They talk about bedside manner as a doctor, and her manner, like, I feel like when I go in there, first of all, the joy, the overall glee towards life, and not like a fake positive, just a real, like, we're connecting. Like, I feel she is good at eye stuff, but even if she wasn't, I'd be like, I think I see better now anyway. And it's a whole event. Like, it's hours because there's sharing of stories. It's we got the worst part is the part where they shoot air into your eye, which I feel like that was just invented by someone who had an mortal enemy that was going to get their eyes tested. And that feels like, I don't know. I shouldn't get into like comparing it to waterboarding, but it feels like, here, put your eye right here. Okay, keep it open. We're going to shoot air at it. You think like, yeah. Oh, I spent all other 364 days this year being like, I'm closing my eyes when I hear something, when I feel something come at me. But now in this moment, let's just keep it open. Yeah, while sitting really close to something and a bright light. It's weird how when you go to get better or get medical treatment, sometimes you don't like in my own life, if I was sitting in a chair and staring at a light waiting for air to hit it, I'd be like, I don't think this is medically good. I don't think this is a good but the eye doctor's like, well, they're probably ruining the eye so they can see it at its worst. That's not the case. But I don't know. My favorite, what's your favorite eye exam moment? Huh? My favorite is the one where you're looking at a field and they twist a knob and then you see it more clearly and it's like a field and a red barn. Sometimes it's like a girl laying in the grass looking at the red barn and you're supposed to look at the person versus, it doesn't have to be a girl, but I don't know, I feel like it's probably a famous painting, but a real small one. And you're supposed to like look at one and focus and like I remember that. I love it. Well, I love it when it gets so clear, and that's really great for me. I should have said the thing I was talking about earlier because I'm not saying I say I've lost it, but usually the tone of this podcast is like we're going with it and we'll come back because I already have this momentum established for other stuff, so I'll remember that stuff. But that one thing where I was going, if you remember, put it in the comments. People in the comments, so in life, here's how I rate comment people. Life comments are usually overall pretty nice. Like if someone's coming up to you, tell you something, they're either going to be nice, regardless of whether it's accurate or not. They're going to say a nice thing. That's life. Or if they're going to say a not super nice thing, then that's for your own good. Like some of the biggest changes in my life for the good have happened when someone who's close to me is like, this is something that no one's telling you. And you know what's a challenge in life is when I see that in somebody else, and I'm like, no one's gonna tell them that ever, And maybe if they'll get married, I usually blame their future spouse. That's who when they get married and meet someone, that person will tell them because they're still lovable regardless of that thing. I can't even think of the thing that it would be, but I don't know. So it's the people comments are usually the best. Then I would say Facebook comments are the second most kind because it's like, I mean, I've been on Facebook for a very long time, not since the very beginning, but early on. And I feel like it's family and friends and people that are happy for you and want to see and do more. And there's a lot of, there's a history there of people being there for people. Like, have you ever gone on Facebook? That wasn't the question. I just stopped there. Um, so have you ever gone on Facebook and like you say happy birthday to somebody, or there's like a thing that someone wants like to be prayers for, or like special thought, like going through the and you comment on it, and then that's all you get for like weeks. It's like I've literally been like I can't say thoughts and prayers here because that's all I'm gonna get for a week, and I don't ah I like thoughts and but I don't want to be like going throughout my day being like, okay, uh, I would like to give some thoughts and prayers. I'm thinking of them right now, but I haven't commented it. I'll give money. You know what's weird about money? Like you can give money just to a cause, right? And some people will be like so gracious. Like they'll never expect that you would, and if you do, they'll be you could just sort of tell, or you never hear anything, which is fine. And then like someone who you don't know that well, like maybe an acquaintance or an organization, you can give like, not that I give like tons of money, but I would if I had, but like my dad, it all goes to, he's grateful, my son. But like someone who you don't know, you give something to, they're just usually really gracious, or you just don't hear anything because they're getting a lot that day or whatever. Which, by the way, as a parent, is it okay if you don't do thank you cards for a kid's birthday because the kid can't write? And we kept track of who things were from, but I don't have people's addresses. We should have wrote emails. It's when is it? Is 6 months too late? Ooh, it's about 6 months. Oh man. Um. So anyway, I just thought of a thing. That's not about the podcast. Like I don't just say everything on the podcast. Sometimes I have thoughts that don't come out. I know people that listen every week are like, that's not true. You say everything because you're filling time. No, this is a connect. One friend recently said that it was like they got a really long voicemail from me, and I was like, that's exactly what I want. Because I've gotten really long voicemails from people, and like super like very long voice messages, especially because those I just got one there for like 13 minutes. Like I'm talking 13 minutes. Who am I talking? But like it's just like when it's a direct, I feel like I got to listen to it, But with this, it's just like, oh yeah, come in and out or whatever. Listen to it if you like. And I'm not giving you specific things, This is just, there's not tasks. So yeah. Anyway, comments. Oh yeah. Then when you give money to someone who's maybe not super grateful, they're like, "What? You think you could just give me money and that's just love to you?" I think that's what bad relationships are. Is when you get that like. I was in a relationship a long time ago. I wouldn't say bad because it was worse than bad, but it was more like I should have known. Like I gave the person a gift of a thing that you had. Like it was kind of like a gift card, but there was no gift card possibility. So I was like, I want to give you this gift. It was like an educational experience, like a workshop thing. And the thing they said was like, that's not thoughtful. When it was something that helped that person that they wanted. It wasn't like, oh, you need help with this. It was just like, I see you have an interest in this. Here's this. And that's when you do something early on in a relationship that they get critical of, when it's not like a mean thing. It's just like, oh, that might be more work than is good for a lifetime. Like in the beginning, the work can be fun. It's like shoveling the driveway. It snowed a lot. It gives me something to do. But when you're 80, you don't want to be shoveling the relationship driveway. You just want to sit there and be like, we know each other so well that we can just sit here and be, and you want to be able to do that early. So that's what I'm looking for. Whew, I got on a relationship app. That's what I call it. I don't call them dating apps because I don't have time for dating. I need a relationship. That's what I. This isn't. What am I just gonna go out and do blah 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 blah? No, I got. If I'm out, I paid a babysitter. This is a relationship. I make fun of it on stage, not the people, but how like some people will put on the dating that they're looking for new friends, and I'm just like, get out of here. Anyway, anyway. So be grateful. But so real life people are most gracious for comments. Facebook are second most. Instagram, I feel like has been very nice. I feel like people on Instagram are really cool, nice. And then I feel like TikTok is like it's a wild card. You could have people be real nice. You could have one person on TikTok used to come in and say nice things. My water's way over there. That's not what they would say, but it is over there. I didn't actually. No, it's not. No, that's a cleaning cup. So in my bathroom, I know it's my bathroom. It's my studio. I'm an artist. I'm in LA. I'm making it someday. So this is the cup that I use to clean because the White Sox are in last place, and they become the bathtub cleaning cup. That's if they get out of last place, then we'll move someone else there. The Jets used to be there during football season. I didn't really do this on purpose, but I do. The White Sox are my favorite team. This is a spring training cup, actually. I threw a first pitch out, not this game, but my cup was over there, and there's not water in it. The cup overfloweth. So, like, I got a really long voicemail I got to listen to now, but I'm not going to do it because it's nighttime. And I've gotten messages from this person before at nighttime, and it just sort of seems like that they shouldn't have sent it. Like, those were all things they could have just kept to themselves, and like made some good point. I should have introduced this podcast as I'm not complaining. This is just advice for changing situations that already exist that I would change if I had all the power. It's not complaining. It's just like, oh, how would I make this gooder, better? So, I got one that I got to listen to, and I don't know if it's 13 minutes. Thanks, iPhones. You can send a 13-minute voice memo. That's not a memo. That's a document at that point. 13 minutes, and it's not all, you're the best, And I am not the best, but I'm not worthy of 13 minutes of criticism. What is this, the Army? I don't know why I said the Army, but I feel like when I played sports, right, playing sports is really good, especially in my generation, because I don't know if it was good, but coaches would really let loose. They would really, like, they yelled, that was like when you hit middle school basketball, that's when I knew that we were men because the way our coaches talked to us, they treated us like men that lost a game 92-12 or at 10. That's what not children playing against people, the varsity coach's son in another school. They're all going to play they just happen to be the best basketball players in the area. Like, we grew up near really good basketball players, and we didn't have like a star. They all transferred or whatever to other states. Anyway, we got screamed, and like the screaming wasn't ever as bad as like the slow walk around the locker room and the shaking of the head. Like, we had a coach in 7th grade, and I'm not going to share any names because there's no, see, as an athlete, I feel like you can tell when a coach yells at you because they want you to get better, and they feel like that's the best way to communicate with you. And that's just the heat of the moment, and they respect you because you play hard and you come to practice every week. Then there's the coach that I had that only coached, I think, that year, and I don't know why we thought he could coach. I feel like we got some coaches starting out where people are like, no one's doing this. And if you're listening, I don't think you were good. That's not nice. But anyway. So I scored more points than I ever did in a game that year. But it was a B team game, but it was shorter. So I made the newspaper 25 points in a B team game. Those quarters are like 2 minutes. Are you kidding me? It was like the Pacers with the last. Anyway, we still lost. But I was on fire for one day. But he was so angry. We got beat by a lot that year by a couple teams. And I remember him walking around the locker room slowly. And then he kicked a kid off the team for like making a joke while he was out of the room. And it's like, looking back, I'm just like, that was our only hope. Like, he was literally turned out to be our best player. But in seventh grade, I guess you don't know that. Like he was just, and it was just like when you lose by 80 points or whatever, it's not because you didn't try. You maybe lost at some point because the other team outplayed you. But when it's that bad, the other, they got to put it in their backup. They're just bad. Like, I've been beat in other sports with good coaches by a lot. And I feel like those coaches, they didn't ever feel like they had to tell you that you needed to work harder. They were just upset the other coach for showing them up. Anyway, I grew up in an age where coaches screamed at you. And I was talking to my friend about this because he played college football. And he said when he got to the college level, he had professional athletes as his coaches. And they didn't yell at you. He didn't, like, it sounds like they just like moved on from you if they weren't interested, like if you weren't doing it. But I guess when you're in a small town and you're all they have, they're like, I don't know. The thing I used to say on stage is that like playing sports really gets you ready for life, especially being in not great relationships. Anyway, where someone screams. So some people listen to this and they're like, oh, he's going. No, I'm fine. This is just the main thing of this podcast is me talking. And so I don't think before. And when I'm on stage and I'm working out a new hour of material, sometimes it gets a little more personal because I know on stage that if I say something about my life, that first of all, it's true, which resonates with others. Like if you're a really good actor, I'm sure you can make up stuff or you can like make up stuff if it's really like deep down in there. But I always feel like when I hear a comedian do something that, and I never really know, that sounds a little made up, it feels like, but if it sounds a little made up and it's not made up, that there's nothing I can do about that. This is what happened, and that's my life. Like I don't get frustrated, but sometimes people be like, well, what percentage is true? All of the percentage of it's me, Michael. I got Michael Palisak got introduced to the stage, not Michael the comedian Palisak. It's just me. Now, in the description, I might be better at telling what happened in a funny way. I might have gone through other reactions and reflecting on it that come up through the storytelling. Like my whole life isn't that, I don't know, maybe it's entertaining in some parts, but you just take you take everything in your life and then the things that pop out and then you just talk about them. So anyway, what was I saying? Alternate title of the podcast. I just got my kid I did a fake glasses because they're all the way over here. Okay. I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to see if they're still pretty glary, as if glaring goes away. Anyway. So if you have Facebook comments, Instagram comments, right? And then YouTube or TikTok are kind of like crazy. Like I said, I've had people come and go on. Oh, here's my water cup. I found it's this one over here. See, the Dodgers, not in last place. They get to be drank out of. This is a really cool cup. I'm going to keep this one because my favorite kind of stadium cup is the one where it's like the thing isn't a wrap. Like sometimes, not like a food wrap. Don't be crazy. But like sometimes the cup will be a wrap of a picture, and it's just like, well, this is like printed on, and I really like that. This is how it was when I was a kid, and I would go to a Colts game. So, you TikTok, who knows? Sometimes it's spammy. TikTok's feels like the Tinder of social media. Like, I'm not really on. I don't know I found out recently. Make up your mind, Michael, that if you're on a dating app, a relationship. I need to relate. I don't need, but it's like, I feel like my son is 6, right? How much personal information can I give away? No, he is 6, and I just got him to sleep. I don't know if you heard, and it was one of those things that you only see on Instagram reels these days, where like right now he falls asleep next to me. That's kind of where we are for the last couple of years. When he was younger, I would put him in and just leave and hope. But it got to be an age where it wasn't a long time to wait. And you kind of realized it wasn't going to be that long before you wouldn't be. And, um, and that's just where we are now. And enough Instagram reels told me that it's okay to lay there with your kid. So, like, he's still gonna grow up. Like, I think some people are like, I gotta make my kid grow up. He's gonna grow up. So, um, he like fell asleep. I usually fall asleep too, which is really nice. I got I'm not gonna. I was okay. Now I gotta talk about it. So, I'm trying to buy a TV with a VCR in it and like a tube television because this is. I don't know if I'm at my midlife yet, and it doesn't feel like a crisis. But are you ever in a thing that you've never been in before, and you're like, oh, maybe this is what like a cult looks like, or like a midlife crisis looks like. So last summer, I got a an original Nintendo, like the not like in a box, but it was like you can buy them. They're not hard. My brother got one for me for my birthday, and I really find it enjoyable to play games from on it and for it. And I've played games with my son on other systems that are newer, and it's fun because I get to play with my son. But I really find this other connection to this video game because the games are fun, but also it reminds me of a time when no worries that I have now. Like I feel like around 7 or 8 is when I started having anxiety. Um, Not like I have a I don't know, but like you just like I feel like there's a light switch, and it clicks, and you all of a sudden care about what others think. Like I feel like up until 7 or 8, I would be afraid if I was supposed to be afraid, or I'd be sad if I could be sad, or I'd be happy. Maybe this is just me projecting inside out too onto my life. But then around 8, we also moved when I was 7 or 8. I was a new kid. I started like having like worries. It seemed like I never had worries before. Right? It was just like legit. I think that's the difference. I think when you're really young, you have fears and things that make you sad and happy, and you believe in them. So they're not worries. They're real. Everything is real. And then you get a little older and you realize that some of them are real and some of them are crazy, ridiculous, never going to happen, not a big deal. And you know that. And that adds to the negative stress of life. So it's not like I want to be a little kid again. I guess midlife crisis is more like buying a cool car that you'd have when you were in your 20s. But I'm a comedian. I didn't grow up. But um, I guess that, and I don't think that's bad as an adult. Maybe those emotions have value. I didn't finish Inside Out 2 yet. I was watching it with my son, and I put him to bed. He didn't fall asleep right away, but I did put him to bed, and we haven't gone back to the movie yet to know. And I'm not going to watch it on my own. I have a podcast to do. So I feel like there's an age when you're younger where the fears, whether they're real or not, you believe they are. So there's no stress about being like, but should I even worry about this? You know? And then you get a little older and you're like when I was in second grade, okay, I was making my first communion. I don't think I've ever shared this with anybody before. I was making my first communion, right, in second grade. And in second grade, I was the only left-handed in my kid in my class. And we moved to a new town in the middle of second grade. Valentine's Day was my last day at my old school. Went to a new school, and it ended up being really, really good for me to be in a smaller town and a smaller school, and changed my life, made friends for life or whatever. And the people up until second grade, I've never seen ever really ever again, and that's sad. Now that I think about it, that is like I would love to connect with people I knew when I was 4, 5, and 6. Other than my brothers, they're busy. Like where are those people? Do they think about me? Probably not. I think not my whole dream, but one of the things that I really like doing when I was thinking about doing a career in comedy or whatever is like when I was 7, we moved to a whole different part of the country, and this is before the internet. And so you can write letters or whatever, but there wasn't a real way to stay connected to friends that were with you for your whole life up to that point. You just left them. You just moved and you were gone, and then you were with new people, and really on a normal level, no one really cared. Like the new kids were already had their own lives and they became your friends and you lived. But no, they never thought about where you were for kindergarten and first. They were never like, let me catch you up on the things that happened. I don't even know. There are 2 grades worth of things that happened to my second grade friends that I have no idea about, and no one ever was like, "Here's what you know." And there's I don't know what's in that water. Um, it's clean, I'm sure. Like I'm not gonna even talk about it. I'm not gonna drink that water anymore. Sometimes I just feel like there's things flying around the house, and you're like, not bugs, but they're. I don't need to share everything. So, and then the old kids, the kids that I went to preschool and kindergarten and first grade with, and grew up around in the neighborhood. Like we in Buffalo, we lived in a neighborhood of kids would go outside and play. Like I remember being like 3 or 4 years old, just playing outside. No parents that I could see with other little older siblings, other kids, a lot of kids just playing. Like my 3-year-old brother got a black eye playing tackle football. That's how unsupervised. And I'm not that old. This is like not old times. Um, who was watching us? So we were supposed to watch each other. I think that was the thing. So, uh, there's all those years, right? 3.5 years, which when you're 3.5 years doesn't sound like a lot of time, but when you're only 7, that's half your life. And the time before that, you don't even really remember anyway. And then those people don't remember. No one's checking in when we're graduating high school. Be like, oh, how's it? Nobody, nothing. No, I've done Buffalo a couple times. No one has come to the show who's like, hey, you lived across the street from me, and you come over and play video games before you got one. Like, you used to come knock on my door to try to trade for Mike Tyson's Punch Out to rent. You try to like borrow it. I remember that at a very young age. Like now, but like 6 or 7, walking across the street down the cul-de-sac, going to my brother's friend's house because he had Mike Tyson's Punch Out and he was gonna let me borrow it. And no one's ever. There's been zero. At which I shouldn't really complain. Some people, don't get to know their parents ever, and I'm just like, oh, these kids. But I can see why not knowing your parents would affect you because I have groups of people in my life who don't think about me anymore. No, who like after it happened. So when I did stand up, I was like, that's a way to maybe like connect. Or they at least could like know what happened to me. The less people that listen to this podcast, the more open I become. I feel like no, I'm very grateful for the numbers. What was I talking about? So TikTok is crazy. YouTube, those people are like, those comments are just like my friend Andy Hendrickson, very funny. He helped me produce the audio for my most recent special. He's a very funny comedian, and he's been posting stuff on Reddit also, which I haven't done. And he was like, people will comment on those and just like roast you. And my theory has always been like, whenever you get those negative ones, that means your stuff is getting out there because the algorithm's like, here's how you did for the people that like people like you. Let's throw it out there to everybody. Or if you run an ad, you'll get negative things, which is always weird when like I'm paying Facebook, Instagram, Meta, money. I'm giving them money to promote a clip, to promote a show in a town, and they show it to someone who's like saying something bad. Like at least, I don't know. I never delete the negative comments, not because I think they have value. I just kind of like don't want to give it attention. I don't respond. I feel like other people can respond for me if they want to. Anyway, that's life. That's life. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying how things could be better if I designed every single moment consciously. So, where were we? My contacts are coming in tomorrow. My mom picked them up. My eye doctor is in Chicago area still, and she's so great that I go back. But for Memorial, now these don't even feel important. These I've already gotten. Sometimes I go back and I'm like, this was good to say, but this is just like logistics. Like this is the part of the movie that is covered in the whatever, the opening credits. I gotta sneeze. I gotta sneeze. I got, Oh, bless you. I've been sneezing loud lately. I feel like if you live in an apartment building and you sneeze loud, first off, no one can complain, really. They're just like, they're going to sneeze at some point and they don't know how loud it is. So they're like, oh, that's just them sneezing. And then if you sneeze loud enough, it makes all the rest of your walking around normal sounds sound like super quiet. So that's my advice on living in apartments is really let those sneezes go. Cut them loose. I also feel like if I make them loud enough, then the stuff that I could be spreading stays in for some reason. I don't know how that's true, but I feel like that. So I'm getting contacts. You won't see the glasses. I have contacts. What am I talking about? I had to move an appointment. It's all good. Maybe I'll just start over. This weekend I'm going to Spokane, Washington, at Spokane Comedy Club on Thursday. Comedy Club on Thursday. And if you're in Spokane, come out because if you're watching this and you're from Spokane, this is literally for you. Um, it's a huge room. Tickets are available. You could come in the middle of the show. I hope they let you in. Come before the show. And then I'm in Seattle at Laughs Comedy Club Friday and Saturday, which is super fun. And then the next week I'm in Tulsa if we sell some tickets. I shouldn't say if, but like they told us we hadn't sold any. And then McKinney, Texas at the Comedy Arena and the Tulsa Looney Bin on Thursday. And then the next week, I forgot where I was last week, but I remembered it because I looked it up. And I'm in Atlanta, Georgia on the Wednesday. And then I'm in Jacksonville, Florida on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. 3 nights in Jackstown. And not my son. And then the end of the month, I'll be in Kenosha, Wisconsin at the Kenosha Comedy Club, which wins the prize for the comedy club name. That's what it is. It's in the town it is. It's a comedy club. Boom. I like simple. I like simple. Speaking of simple. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I do say gosh. I do because I tell my son to say gosh. Gosh. Like how do you teach a kid about words? That's my because um like I'm Catholic, you're not supposed to say all like people do, whatever. No, but like if we're the kid, it's like, well, let's start here, let's start at a low level of swearing, and then when you do it on your own, you'll say this and think you're saying something. And then, like when I was a kid, we weren't allowed to say "shut up," and I heard someone say "shut up" one time, and I told my mom, I was like, "Oh, I heard someone say the S word," and she's like, "What word?" And I was like, "Shut up." And there must have been like joy in my mom's heart. Like he thinks that's a bad word. I've done my job. Yeah, shut up is you better never tell that kid to shut up, but don't ever say it. I don't think shut up. I think shut up could be a better word than I don't say it. I don't say it. Man, that's good for my mom. I think shut up could be the worst S word because I I should have I just got a text and it went through on my phone. You're all wondering what it could be. I usually put my phone on like do not disturb except from my kid's school or someone that has to get hold of me. So, um also side note, no, I'm not going to do that. No. Um what was I even talking about? So, this is so oh my gosh. So my son thinks that saying oh my god is bad, which I don't who know. I'm not God, but you knew that. But like people say it, who go to church, and I just don't want him to say it now. But he'll hear other people say it. I talked about this a little last week at the White Sox game. Not at the White Sox, but about the White Sox game. So he'll hear people say it, and then he'll tell me, and it feels like we're on the same team, and he's not like tattletaling or whatever. I don't hear him being like. I don't think he knows. I don't know how to explain what language is when it comes to censoring. Because part of me as a comedian is like, you should say whatever you want, when you want, however you want to do it. And some people will take it a certain way. Some people will take it a different way. And if you want people to take you a certain way, you won't talk that way. And if you want people to take you, if you don't care, then you'll talk however you want. And I do think there's value in caring on how people receive you, and versus just saying whatever you want. But then there's the part of me that's like, well, I don't know. This is how I was raised, you know. So oh my gosh, I I feel like there's something there though. Like, how do you teach kids about swearing? Because I definitely think words I especially when I stub my toe. I heard stubbing your toe is like getting shot. Can anybody verify that in the comments? I stub my toe and I say this. Say words. I say words when I'm running late. I say words. I'll quote songs, not racial ones, but like swear words and songs sometimes in my head all the time. Like, it's interesting because I never really like when it comes to being around kids, especially as an adult. If kids are talking a certain way, those are the kids, and you're not their parents unless you are. But you shouldn't talk that way around kids, right? Because you don't want them to talk that way because of you, right? You want them to talk that way because of another, you know, flawed person they met. But then you're caring for a kid, being the parent of a kid, and there's never been more moments where I have swear words on the tip of my tongue. Um, so, oh my gosh. Speaking of simple things, who remembers? No. I need a new backpack because Jack, when Jack's a baby, right? You have like a diaper bag or whatever. And I burned through two of those, I had one, and here's a story I haven't told. So, you don't have to strap in. This isn't a roller coaster. Relax. Relax. Take it easy. An Instagram reel told me that recently, not to take it easy, but instead of saying calm down, a more, I guess, stronger way, comforting way is to say take it easy. And I feel it. I feel it when I say it. I see it in my son when I say take it easy. Calm down, it seems like you're oppressing them. Take it easy. Like, hey, there's two paths in this emotional forest. You can take the one that's easy, and that'll make all the difference. Robert Frost, kind of. So I take it easy. Where was I? Where were we this whole time? There was something that was there, but I'm just gonna talk about the thing I was talking about. So, oh yeah, I had a one diaper bag, right? And then I went to my brother's wedding, and it was the first time I traveled, like, to be around all my family, and we had to like pack a bunch of stuff. And I had traveled before with a diaper bag, but I was just like, it's just extra stuff. So I just brought my backpack, and then I brought like a little like Walgreens. See, it wasn't Walgreens bags are pretty tough, right? Target or something, just like a plastic bag from a grocery store that are outlawed in Hawaii now. Not the grocery stores, but the plastic bags, because they're just floating around. That's what I mean. This was 10 years ago, but I think it's still the case. So imagine living in a place where you can get in trouble for just bringing one of those bags. Um, I wonder if crime goes up or down. So, violent crime. So, sometimes the words should have endings, Michael, and sentences. I so this trip to my brother's wedding, I just had like put all the stuff in my backpack, right? With all my stuff. And then I had this like bag that you get from like a Walmart or something, and a plastic bag. And that carried his like, things that you would need to change a toddler who's not fully whatever. He was young, and potty trained. And I didn't want to just carry my backpack everywhere because I had my laptop and stuff in it. So I would just put that stuff in a bag. Just like not dirty, clean stuff, the things you need. And I showed up to the wedding with that. And my mom was like, I'm buying you a diaper bag. And I didn't know how to be like, because I like stuff, Oh, thank you. Like, she bought one for me, not that weekend, but eventually. And because she was like, you don't care. And I had one already, but I was like, oh, that's good. So that's a pro tip too. If you're around people that love you, if you don't bring a thing, they might buy you more of that thing. So, anyways, I had the one that I had when Jack was a baby that someone gave to us, and I burned through that one. And then I had the new one, and I just kept using it even when Jack was kind of done. because you go places, you need sunscreen. I like to bring this foaming stuff that you spray on a cut, and it's not antibiotic. You're not giving your kid antibiotics if whatever, but you don't have to put Neosporin and everything. It just kills the germs and saves your kid. Murder the bad guy. Don't treat the anyway. No murder. And then like snacks, water, drinks, whatever. Uh, applesauce, applesauce packets saved me. Did you know when we were at the wedding, I'd never traveled with them before, and my sister in law, so she has 3 kids, so smart, and Jack didn't want to eat anything, and I expected that, and I was okay with that. But while he wasn't eating anything, she's like, "Do you want one of these?" And she gave him one of those applesauce packets that you can squeeze yourself, and he just ate it. And then eventually, not right away, I figured it out that I should carry those too. But that's something, if a new parent's listening, that could be, because it's just apples. You can look on the ingredients, you can get organic ones. So whenever he eats it, he doesn't know that he's doing something healthy, which he's probably would be okay with. Um, but in like, this is your apples now. Now you got apples in you. And you sleep easier as a parent knowing you got apples in your kid, because an apple a day keeps the doctor away, gone. So does insurance that changes without telling you. My insurance company changed. I've always had Illinois health insurance, and it works for doctors in California. And then this year, apparently they sent a notice that said it wouldn't anymore. And I didn't find out until I had medical things done. And they're like, "Oh, that wasn't an emergency. You're not covered for that." And I was supposed to get my physical tomorrow, because, I know I look healthy. We know I'm healthy, but it's nice to see the grades at the end of the semester, even though, you aced it, right? So I called to see if that would be covered, and they're like, "It would be, but you need a waiver because you're in California and you have an Illinois health insurance," which is just like, we're all one country. What what does distance really matter? Like, can we stop finding ways to not like, I've heard people complain about health insurance before, and I'm like, that sounds real. And then something like that happens. I'm like, really? Are we really just trying to get out of? For my whole life, I've been able to go to the doctor in any state, and now you're like, we're just covering these because we can tell through your credit card payments that you live there." No, so I gotta change health insurances soon, but I'm still covered for emergencies, and I can get it waived for this physical. So anyway, the second diaper bag that my mom gave me, that I was just using as a backpack, kind of, the straps broke. They were wearing down, and we were out like a week ago, and I could see it fraying. I saw it fraying. And you ever have something in life that you just want to get a new one of? I didn't break it, but I wasn't like sometimes I would twist it, and I wasn't sure whether I was untwisting it or twisting it. You ever do that with a backpack where you're like, "I'm putting this thing on. Do you think it's the right way or the wrong way?" And I just twist it, and I think I just kept twisting it more, and then both straps broke. And because as a parent, it's like, you have you have this child, you have all these things that you want to pay for and cover, and there's it's not always, you're not buying stuff for yourself, right? Like, I don't want to just buy a backpack. I love backpacks, right? But I'm not just buying one. I'm not just gonna buy one. And my whole adult life, I've wanted like a navy Jansport backpack with like a brown. I don't think it's leather. I don't think it can be for the price point, but like brown, like sort of whatever. Maybe it's suede. Is that cheaper? Bottom. And I've wanted that for a long time. As a kid, I think I had a Nike one that was pretty cool, but I've just seen people wearing them, and I'm like, that looks so simple and cool. Maybe this is my midlife crisis too. Um, it just reminds me of being a kid and happy and not having anxiety about my fears being real. Um, so but I never bought one because I travel so much, and especially early on in comedy, I would try not to ever check a bag because a comedian I knew was like, "Yeah, that way you can just move, around. You don't have to get there early to check." But then recently, I started selling merch in the last couple of years, so I'm checking a bag anyway. And but I just carry. I wanted a backpack that fit a ton of stuff, And the Jansport backpack that I wanted wasn't the biggest backpack. So it didn't seem reasonable for me to buy this backpack that I loved because it didn't meet all the need, And, but then when my second Jack backpack blew up, it literally is done. Dunzo, cadunzo. I realized that today's my day. I almost went last week instead of going to bed early because I was traveling the next morning. There's a lot of explanation behind that sentence. But I was like, today I'm going because I have to. I'm picking up my son and we're going to go somewhere and I need a backpack to have stuff in for him to be a kid. And so I went to Tilly's because that's my backpack place now, apparently. And I'm the oldest person there for sure. But you're not going to meet a worker. Maybe you will, my age at Tilly's. But it's a skateboard backpack place. I even walked in there and I was looking at all the backpacks are behind the register. So this guy's helping people. And I'm like, can I see that Jansport, navy blue Jansport? And he takes it out. And all the backpacks in front are like stuffed with stuff, so they look like real backpacks. And he pulls out one, it's all flat and doesn't look as cool, but this one still look cool. I don't know if I'll have it next time. I was gonna bring it with me, but now it doesn't. I'm not gonna bring it all the way to the bathroom. So I look at and he's like, Michael's has a lot of backpacks too. That's what he said to me. He's like, Michael's has a lot of backpacks. Like, why can't I shop at Tilly's? What? This is a normal human parent backpack. I can get the Jansport. So I looked at. They have a really good maroon, like reddish maroon one too, or like a forest green kind of. And I was tempted to get one of those, and I was like, no, this is my dream, and it was. I don't. Maybe you remember this or not. Can you comment about it? I'm trying to build up my comments with nice people. No, the podcast usually gets pretty nice comments because the views are lower. But if I feel like blue was the only color you could get. Maybe black, but they have a really cool green and red one. Maybe like, I don't know if I can buy two, and I'll make one like the travel one. But anyways, I was like, I don't need a huge backpack to be a dad. This diaper bag I had for years was tiny. My mom bought it for me because she thought it would be good to have like not a huge one. And I was like, okay, we'll see. And it was like stuffing stuff in there, but I made do with it because it was free. And you're like, well, you just use it until. And this one it fits the laptop if you want to, and it's got the little brown thing, and it has a little water bottle thing, and I own it now. And someone who knows me saw me and like, are you a Jansport guy now? And I'm like, I don't define myself by a brand, but whenever I was walking around today after I purchased it, and I would feel my overall like emotional levels drop a little bit, I would just look in the mirror, or like check out a window of me and my Jansport, and I'd be like, oh, I can't believe today's the day. It's something that's so nice because it's not life changing or like a huge thing, but it's exactly what I wanted. Find your own Jansport today. I never give assignments, but and you don't have to spend money on something if you don't want to. But like if there's a thing out there that not that you need a thing to feel good, you can feel good about just, looking at your house or whatever. But it was really nice. I forgot about it already, so maybe it's not worth buying. But it was really nice to know that I purchased the thing that I really liked. That was it's just so simple. It's all blue, dark blue. It says Jansport on it. Like simple pockets, no like place for your AirPods or whatever. It's all like when I see people with one of those in the airport, I'm like, they got their life together. They don't need all these pockets. They got their things. They have the pockets in their brain. It's already organized. They left the stuff at home that would need all these pockets for. They're slimline. They're able to maneuver. They're slimlined. They're slimline, streamlined. They're streamlined. They're aerodynamic. And I never was willing to take that risk because I never wanted to like be packing and be zipping and just be like, what do we do now? But I think I'm going to get there now. I think I might be able to make that happen as my airport backpack too. This is such a great day. But yeah, find that thing in your life that you haven't bought. You don't have to buy it, but like that would make you, I don't know, things can make you happy. But like if you find the thing that you think about that makes you, and just think about it a lot. This is the Happiness Project. That's a book. Anyway, we made it. I just got my kid to sleep, not in the morning. I was gonna do it this morning, but I um, I was taking a nap. So that's all you can say. I dropped my son off at school he had a tour at the school he's going to next year, but it lasts like all day. It wasn't just a tour, like he sat in on the class. He's going into first grade just to catch people up. And to go to this school up the street, they want the kid to come in for a whole school day, basically. And it starts a little earlier than his current school, so he'd wake up early. I came back, took a nap, and I protested it because someone's got to vouch for your kid. You know, someone's got to be there for him. And I was like, hey, I'm not into it. As the parent, how about 2 hours? How about just have a teacher come watch him at his current school if this is so important? He's sick. He's in kindergarten, you know, because I have been to new schools by myself. And not even just move, because when you move to a new school, you know, and I'll wrap this up. You can tell how long it lasts right now. This is a record, really. I just was going to talk about this and then I didn't. Maybe I could talk about it next week. Um, but like I've been to a school one time in middle school because our band, we got to go take band class at a different school. And then all of a sudden you were just in this different school. And it's very scary, you know, but it's real fear. It's not like, oh, what do I have to worry? It's real. And everyone told me that he was going to be fine. Like the lady at the school was like, this is just what we do. And his mom was like, he's excited. And then I talked to him before because I was like, the day before, I was like, I'm checking this out. I was like, are you cool going to the school for like a whole day, like 6 hours and 5 hours, whatever? And he was like, yeah, you know, I'll play by myself. And I'm like, well, you might not, you know, maybe you'll meet some people or whatever. And then we got there, and he was not into going into a classroom all by himself of new people just for one day. Like, I get if you're starting a whole new life, you got to jump in sometime. But we're going in for one day just to see if it's a good It's just like, come on. I don't know. I work in a business. This isn't the complaining part. This is the part of the episode where I say the way life should be if I got to do. Like I work in a business where you go in to audition for something. People take maybe 20 minutes. I mean that's a lot. Maybe 5, maybe 3, and they know whether they want you or not. Or sports. I tried out for a baseball team in college, and the coach would look at us do like 3 things, less than an hour. And he would literally call us out and be like, "Hey, you might think you didn't I didn't really get to see you, but this is my job is to see how good you are at baseball. And your dad's probably really good at his job too." I don't think he said mom. He should have said moms too. Um, so I knew that it seemed like an overkill of how much time they need him there, and that it's not gonna be an easy adjustment. So and he wasn't into it super, and it ended up being fine. I think it was probably good overall. So who am I? And I didn't say anything. All I did was say I wasn't into it, and then when I was told that was the only option, I was like, well, I'm not gonna paint this world for him where this is bad or hard or not easy, or put that on anybody else. And some people tried to know why I wasn't into it. They were, and I wasn't like, I'm not gonna put that out there. You know, whether you believe in putting it out there or not, I'm not gonna be the one responsible for the way this goes. But then I got there and I was like, that's how I thought that was gonna go. Um, and he ends up being fine. But it's good to know that I'm in tune, even though I didn't want to be. I don't want to be right about all this all the time. Anyway, thank you for listening. Woo. Oh yeah. So anyway, I took a nap today while he was there, and then I went and got my new backpack, my Jansport. I'm a new guy, and not a new guy. I'm like a guy who rediscovered the old guy in me, who's young. And I talked about. I didn't really get into it, but with my old video games. um, yeah. So and then now I'm doing it at night the next day. So it's back to I just got him to sleep again. Yeah. Yeah. It feels good. I like the nighttime. All right. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your ears. Thank you for listening.